gallstone, their different presentation, and their management, and various other benign diseases related to the gallbladder. So today we will discuss about the choledocholithiasis. What is choledocholithiasis? It is the stone in the common bile duct. So choledocholithiasis is stone in the common bile duct. Choledocholithiasis is present in about 10% of the patient with stone in gallbladder. So about 10% of the patient with gallbladder stone will have stone in the CBD, right? So CBD stone, it can be divided into two categories: primary stone and the secondary stones. What are primary stones? Primary CBD stones are those stones which are found within the CBD itself. So primary stone, they are found within the CBD itself, whereas what are secondary CBD stones? Secondary CBD stones are those stones which are formed initially in the gallbladder and then they migrate through the cystic duct into the CBD, right? So primary stone, they are formed in situ. Secondary stone, they are formed in the gallbladder initially and then they migrate through the cystic duct into the CBD. Now, there is another term which is called as retained CBD stones. So what is retained CBD stones? Suppose you have done cholecystectomy and at the time of cholecystectomy you have not diagnosed CBD stone. So if they are discovered within 2 years of cholecystectomy, then they are called as retained CBD stones. So what is retained CBD stones? If these CBD stones, they are discovered within 2 years of cholecystectomy. There is another term which is called as recurrent CBD stones. So what is recurrent CBD stones? If these CBD stones, they are detected more than 2 years after cholecystectomy. So these are the various terms related to the CBD stones. You should know what is primary stones, what are secondary stones, what are retained stones, what are recurrent CBD stones. So what is the etiology of the primary stones? The primary stones, they are usually associated with biliary stasis and infections. So primary stones, to form primary stones, one prerequisite is that there should be some biliary stasis, and this biliary stasis is followed by superadded bacterial infection. And these primary stones, they are commonly seen in Asian population, right? So stone in the bile ducts are often associated with infected bile, that is in about 80%, then are stone in the gallbladder. Means if there is a gallbladder stones, the bile in the gallbladder may or may not be infected. But if there is a stone in the CBD, 80% chances are there that there will be infected bile in the CBD, right? So what are the causes of biliary stasis? The causes of biliary stasis include biliary stricture, papillary stenosis, tumors, or other stones like secondary stones which are there in the CBD, which have traveled from the gallbladder to the CBD and has led to obstruction in the CBD leading to biliary stasis and then formation of primary stone. So there can be primary stones as well as secondary stones in same patient, right? So the prerequisite for primary stone formation is biliary stasis. And what are the causes of biliary stasis? It can be biliary stricture, papillary stenosis, any tumor, that is cholangiocarcinoma, or any secondary stones which have traveled from gallbladder to the CBD. So these are the causes of biliary stasis leading to formation of primary stones. So how the patient will present to you with CBD stone? Bile duct, they may be silent, right? So if they are silent, they are discovered only on investigation like ultrasonography. And ultrasonography in these patients are usually done for some other pathology and they are detected incidentally. So bile stone, they may be silent, or sometimes they can present with bouts of abdominal pain and dyspepsia indistinguishable from gallbladder symptoms. So these CBD stones, they can have presentation very similar to the gallstone. Means patient can have pain in the right hypochondrium radiating to back, pain in the epigastrium, there can be dyspepsia, or there can be flatulence. Or sometimes patient can present with intermittent biliary colic with transient jaundice. So these are the different presentation of CBD stones. Sometimes patient the CBD stone, they can present with some potential serious complication, like they can present with obstructive jaundice, they can present with ascending cholangitis, and they can present with acute pancreatitis. So these three uh, are serious complication related to the CBD stones. So first we will take obstructive jaundice. Obstructive jaundice, as the name suggests, this jaundice is because of obstruction in the biliary tract. So jaundice that develops due to biliary obstruction, and this obstruction can be partial or complete. And in this jaundice, there is conjugated hyperbilirubinemia. In prehepatic and hepatic jaundice, there is increased unconjugated bilirubin, whereas in uh, post-hepatic, that is obstructive jaundice, there is increased conjugated bilirubin. And why this is called as surgical jaundice? Because the main management of this jaundice is surgery. So that is why the obstructive jaundice or post-hepatic jaundice or is called as surgical jaundice. And why this is called as surgical jaundice? Because the surgery will require for its treatment. So what are the causes of obstructive jaundice? So obstructive jaundice, the causes can be divided into these 5 categories. First, the congenital causes. It include biliary atresia. In biliary atresia, there is uh, uh, some part of the biliary tract is not formed, right? So there will be atresia in the common bile duct. Then another congenital pathology which can lead to obstructive jaundice is choledochal cyst. What is choledochal cyst? It is the cystic dilatation of the common bile duct. Then second category of causes of obstructive jaundice include inflammatory causes, which include your ascending cholangitis and sclerosing cholangitis. So this is a very commonly asked question. What are the different causes of obstructive jaundice? So you should remember all these causes. First, congenital causes. Second, inflammatory causes. Third causes, benign causes, which include your CBD stone, stricture, and parasitic infestations. Fourth, uh, uh, types of pathology are neoplastic pathologies, which include periampullary carcinoma and Klatskin tumor. Periampullary carcinoma, basically, it includes 4 different types of carcinoma, which include your carcinoma of lower end of CBD, uh, carcinoma of head of pancreas, carcinoma second part of duodenum, and carcinoma from ampulla of fluid. So periampullary carcinoma is basically it includes a group of different carcinomas in which there are 4 different types of carcinoma. If one first is carcinoma from the lower end of CBD, that is cholangiocarcinoma of lower end of CBD. Second is carcinoma head of pancreas. Third is carcinoma from the second part of the duodenum, and fourth is carcinoma from the ampulla of Witt. So these are the different groups of carcinoma. Then another is Klatskin tumor. What is Klatskin tumor? It is a type of cholangiocarcinoma, means carcinoma arising from the CBD, which is present at the junction of right and left hepatic ducts. So Klatskin tumor is a type of cholangiocarcinoma present at the junction of right and left hepatic ducts, right? The next category is if there is extrinsic compression of CBD, and this compression can be by lymph nodes, like in case of carcinoma gallbladder. In carcinoma gallbladder, there is enlargement of the lymph node at porta hepatis, and these enlarged lymph node, they can compress the CBD at porta hepatis, leading to obstructive jaundice. Or there can be some other tumors which can compress the CBD, like sometimes carcinoma gallbladder can compress the CBD extrinsically and thus causes the obstructive jaundice. So how carcinoma gallbladder can cause obstructive jaundice? First, by causing the extrinsic compression of CBD. Secondly, in carcinoma gallbladder, there is enlargement of lymph node at porta hepatis, which can compress the CBD and thus leading to obstructive jaundice. So these are the different causes of obstructive jaundice. So how CBD stone they cause obstructive jaundice? Basically, in choledocholithiasis, a small stone passes into the bile duct and it impacts at the ampulla and thus causing the pain and jaundice. So in choledocholithiasis or CBD stone, the jaundice is usually painful, right? So there will be pain in the epigastrium and there will be jaundice. And the severity of the jaundice will depend on the duration of the obstruction. So it will depend for how much the stone is impacted. If the obstruction is prolonged, the level of the jaundice will be high. But if the obstruction is for a small for a small period, then jaundice will not be so high. So severity of the jaundice depend upon the duration of the obstruction. As the stone passes on, the jaundice spontaneously resolves. So this jaundice is usually called as intermittent jaundice. Why this jaundice is intermittent? Because the stone which is impacted at the ampulla of the ureter can pass spontaneously into the second part of the duodenum and thus leading to resolvement of that obstructive jaundice. And sometimes a stone moves up and down within the duct and act as a ball wall, causing intermittent pain and jaundice. So the typical jaundice of CBD stone is painful intermittent jaundice, right? So you can differentiate obstructive jaundice due to CBD stone and obstructive jaundice due to malignancy. How you can differentiate? In obstructive jaundice due to CBD stone, the jaundice will be painful and intermittent, whereas obstructive jaundice due to malignant causes will be painless and progressive jaundice, right? So this is the main difference between the benign obstructive jaundice and malignant obstructive jaundice. Sometimes there is a larger stone with complete impaction of a stone causes severe progressive jaundice. But most of the time, the jaundice in case of CBD stone is painful and intermittent. And what are the other clinical features? Patient will have biliary colic, jaundice, and there will be lightening of the stools. Stool will be clay colored stool and darkening of the urine. So patient will have biliary colicky pain, jaundice, clay colored stool and darkening of the urine. And there can be fever and chills if patient is having cholangitis. What is cholangitis? Cholangitis is inflammation of the CBD. So if there is cholangitis, patient will have fever and chills. And patient can also have loss of weight and appetite. And as I have told you, pain is absent in malignant obstructive jaundice. And if you do clinical examination of these patients, usually on clinical examination, there will be nothing except a patient will have jaundice and possibly some scratch marks from the intolerable itching. So another important feature of obstructive jaundice will be itching over the body. So what are the different clinical feature of obstructive jaundice? Patient will have pain, patient will have intermittent jaundice, there will be clay colored stool, there will be darkening of the urine, and there will be itching all over the body. And gallbladder is not palpable in case of jaundice due to benign causes, but this gallbladder will be palpable if it is because of malignancy, right? So this is another differentiating point between the jaundice due to benign cause, that is CBD stone, and jaundice because of malignant causes like periampullary carcinoma. So in obstructive jaundice due to CBD stone, your gallbladder will not be palpable, whereas in cases of CBD stone, this obstructive jaundice due to malignancy, your gallbladder will be palpable. So this is another differentiating point between the jaundice due to CBD stone and jaundice due to malignancy. So why the gallbladder is not palpable in cases of CBD stone? This is because of Courvoisier law. So what is Courvoisier's law? If in a patient of obstructive jaundice, if gallbladder palpable, it is not because of CBD stone. So this is the main statement of Courvoisier law. I repeat, if in a patient of obstructive jaundice, if gallbladder is not palpable, gallbladder is palpable, it is not due to CBD stone, right? Means if there is obstructive jaundice due to CBD stone, your gallbladder should not be palpable. This is another statement. So Courvoisier law states that in a patient of obstructive jaundice, if gallbladder is palpable, most probably it is not because of CBD stones. In obstruction due to CBD stone, GB does not distend because due to chronic inflammation, GB is thickened, contracted, fibrosed, and non-distensible. So, if the jaundice is because of CBD stones, your gallbladder is not palpable. And why gallbladder is not palpable? Because of the chronic inflammation in the gallbladder, your gallbladder will be thickened, contracted, fibrosed, and non-distensible. That is why if there is a CBD stone, your gallbladder is usually not palpable. And as you know, most of these CBD stones, they are secondary stones, means they have come downward from the gallbladder. And because initially they were present in the gallbladder, they have caused recurrent episode of chronic cholecystitis, and thus your gallbladder is thickened, contracted, fibrosed, and non-distensible, and thus your gallbladder is not palpable if there is obstructive jaundice due to CBD stone. Whereas in malignant jaundice, gallbladder will be distended and palpable in right hypochondrium as non-tender, globular, smooth mass which moves with respiration. Right? So on physical examination, in case of obstructive jaundice due to CBD stones, you will find nothing. You will not be able to palpate the gallbladder. But if there is obstructive jaundice due to malignancy, your gallbladder will be distended. It will be globular, smooth mass which will move with the respiration. And mind you, this is non-tender mass. And this feature that is non-tender, it help us to differentiate a mass of gallbladder from basically in acute cholecystitis sometimes, or in empyema of the gallbladder, there can be mass in the right hypochondrium, and in carcinoma also there is a mass in the right hypochondrium. So how you will differentiate between a mass of benign disease or mass of a malignant disease? Mass in carcinoma gallbladder will be non-tender, right? It will be non-tender, whereas in case of empyema and acute cholecystitis, your mass will be tender. So this feature helps us to differentiate between the benign and malignant causes. So this Courvoisier law is not helpful in cases if there is congenital absence of gallbladder. So these are the conditions in which your Courvoisier law is not helpful. So first condition is if there is congenital absence of gallbladder. Second condition is if your gallbladder is intrahepatic. So obviously if your gallbladder is intrahepatic, you will not be able to palpate the gallbladder. So third, if there is previous cholecystectomy. So if there is a history of previous cholecystectomy, obviously gallbladder will not be palpable even in cases of malignant obstructive jaundice, right? So these are the exceptions to the No, sorry. These are the condition in which your Purvojira is not helpful. Then there are some exceptions to this Purvojira law. First exception is that if there is double impaction of the stone, means there is impaction at the cystic duct as well as there is impaction in the CBD. In those conditions, even if there is CBD stones, your gallbladder will be palpable. Why there will be gallbladder will be palpable? Because there is a impacted stone in the cystic duct, and in that condition, your gallbladder will be distended. So, in that condition, in spite of presence of your CBD stone, your gallbladder will be palpable. Second is if a pancreatic calculus is obstructing the ampulla of Vater, means a stone is found in the pancreas and this stone is obstructing the ampulla of Vater. So in that condition, there will be obstruction at the ampulla of Vater leading to distension of the gallbladder. Third is mucocele of the gallbladder due to stone in the cystic duct. So if there is a stone in the cystic duct, it will lead to formation of mucocele of the gallbladder. So these are the exceptions. So that was the main complication due to CBD stone, that is obstructive jaundice. Now coming to the other complication due to the CBD stone. These include your ascending cholangitis and acute pancreatitis. So what is ascending cholangitis? Cholangitis is inflammation of the CBD, and this is a fatal disease and it must be treated as a medical emergency. So cholangitis is a medical emergency. This is not a surgical emergency. This is a medical emergency. And how a patient with cholangitis will present to you? The patient will present to you with classical symptom of epigastric pain, fever with chills and rigors. So if there is a patient who is having jaundice and who is having epigastric pain and who is having fever with chills and rigor, it means patient is having CBD stones that has leads to ascending cholangitis. So this is called as Charcot triad. So what is Charcot triad? It is the symptoms of epigastric pain, fever with chills and rigors, and jaundice. So these are the three symptoms which are included in the Charcot triad. So what is Charcot triad? It is present in the ascending cholangitis and it includes symptoms of epigastric pain, fever with rigors, chills and rigors, and jaundice. So these are the three classical symptoms of CBD stone and cholangitis. Sometimes, especially in elderly patient can present to you with these three classical symptoms along with the septicemia and altered mental status, and this is called as Reynolds Pentard. So what is Reynolds Pentard? It includes these three classical symptoms of Charcot triad plus feature of septicemia and altered mental status, and this Reynolds Pentard is commonly seen in elderly patients. So what is Charcot triad? First, these are the three classical symptoms of cholangitis, epigastric pain, fever, jaundice. Pain, fever, jaundice, right? And what is Reynolds Pentard? It is pain, fever, jaundice along with the septicemia and altered mental status. So if there is a patient, elderly patient who is having jaundice, right, who is having high grade fever and patient is having septicemic feature, that he is in the septic shock, that is his BP is low and he is unconscious, then it is called as Reynolds Pentard, and this is another presentation of CBD stone, that is CBD stone presenting as cholangitis having these 5 clinical features which is called as Reynolds Pentard. So cholangitis is usually associated with some degree of obstruction within the bile duct. So if when there is cholangitis, it means some obstruction is there, and stone in this duct are the causes in 80% of the cases. So the stones in the CBD, they are the main causes of cholangitis. Cholangitis is a rare presentation of malignant biliary obstruction. So the cholangitis is usually associated with the obstruction due to the CBD stones, and it is rarely due to obstruction due to malignancy, right? So cholangitis is more common if obstruction is because of CBD stone, and it is rare if obstruction is because of malignancy. Why it is so? I will tell you later on why it is so. So in cholangitis, basically there will be uh, infection, sepsis because of these gram-negative bacteria, that is E. coli, Streptococcus faecalis, and Klebsiella. So these are the common pathogens which leads to infection if there is obstruction in the CBD leading to cholangitis. So what are the different bacteria which leads to cholangitis? These include E. coli, Streptococcus faecalis, and Klebsiella. And these leads to usually gram-negative septicemia. So these gram-negative bacteria, they lead to gram-negative septicemia. So now coming to the question, why sepsis is there in CBD stone and it is not there in malignant obstruction? This is because the common bile duct stones, they are covered by a bacterial biofilm of adherent quiescent bacteria. So the outer covering of the CBD stones is by bacterial biofilm, and this bacterial biofilm is quiescent. So usually there is a covering over the surface of the CBD stones by bacterial biofilm, which is in the quiescent form. But when stones causes obstruction of the duct, cytokines are released by the epithelial cells of the CBD, which activate these bacteria to the virulent form, right? So as I have told you, the cholangitis is more common if there is CBD stone, and it is not so common if the obstruction is because of malignancy. Why it is so? Because the CBD stones, they have a covering of bacterial biofilm, which is usually in quiescent form. But when there is some obstruction of the duct, there is release of the cytokines from the epithelial lining of the common bile duct, and these cytokines then activate these quiescent bacteria into the virulent form. So therefore bile duct obstruction secondary to this stone is often accompanied by bacterial sepsis resulting from activation of the bacterial biofilm on these stones. So that is the reason why sepsis is more common in cases of CBD stones and not in cases of malignant obstruction. So now coming to the treatment of cholangitis. So if the patient is classically presenting to you with obstructive jaundice, pain, there is fever with chills and rigor, and if there is a feature of septicemia, or if there is the patient is unconscious, then you should suspect cholangitis because of CBD stones. So what will be the treatment of cholangitis? As I have told you, this is a medical emergency. So mainly treatment is conservative management. So what is the treatment of patient with CBD stone with cholangitis? The patient must first be resuscitated with IV fluids and antibiotics, right? So you mostly these patients, they are in septic shock. So you will start the IV fluids and antibiotic. Antibiotic treatment of septicemia will produce improvement for a short period, but it will not cure unless the obstruction is relieved. So the definite treatment of cholangitis is definitely the relief of obstruction. But initially you should treat the patient with antibiotics. And as soon as the condition of the patient improve, the obstructed bile duct must be drained adequately by the most effective route and as quickly as possible. So the initial treatment of cholangitis is definitely medical treatment with IV fluids and antibiotic. And these antibiotics, they are usually broad spectrum antibiotic and should cover gram negative, gram positive, and anaerobes. And after few days the condition of the patient will improve, means he or she will regain consciousness, his temperature will decrease, and his septicemia will be uh, uh, decrease. So after initial conservative treatment of this patient, you should drain the common bile duct. And how you can drain the common bile duct? Nowadays, this can usually be achieved by an endoscopic sphincterotomy procedure. So, what is endoscopic sphincterotomy procedure? This is basically uh, dividing the sphincter of Oddi by using a endoscope and thus widening the opening of common bile duct into the second part of the duodenum. So when you widen the opening of common bile duct into the second part of the duodenum, the stone will spontaneously pass into the second part of the duodenum, and thus your jaundice will be relieved, right? But if this is not possible, means if your patient is not improving, then another treatment is that you can do percutaneous transhepatic biliary drainage, right? So initially you will manage the patient conservatively with IV fluids and antibiotic. When the condition of the patient improve, you should drain the CBD. How you can drain the CBD? By going through the second part of the duodenum and doing the endoscopic sphincterotomy. But if this endoscopic sphincterotomy is not possible, then another treatment is percutaneous transhepatic biliary drainage. How you can do PTBD? This is called as PTBD, percutaneous transhepatic biliary drainage. How you can do PTBD? By the help of ultrasound, you will locate the dilated intrahepatic biliary radicals and then pass a needle from the skin going through the liver parenchyma into the dilated uh, biliary tract, biliary radicals, and then you will place a drain in the dilated biliary radicals, and this is called as PTBD. So this is the treatment of cholangitis. Now coming to the another serious complication due to the CBD stone, that is acute pancreatitis. How CBD stone they leads to acute pancreatitis? This is because impaction of a small stone at the ampulla of the Vater leads to occlusion of the pancreatic duct and thus leads to acute pancreatitis. So how CBD stone it can lead to acute pancreatitis? Because of occlusion of the pancreatic duct at ampulla of Vater. So whenever there is any obstruction in the pancreatic duct, it will always followed by acute pancreatitis. So if you see these patients will have clinical feature of pancreatitis. What are the clinical feature of pancreatitis? Patient will have pain in the epigastrium, severe pain in the epigastrium and sometimes in the right hypochondrium, which radiates to the back. And this pain is more while lying down spinally, and this pain is somewhat relieved if patient bent forward, right? And this pain will be usually associated with nausea and vomiting. And this pain is so severe that this pain is usually not relieved by simple medication. So these are the clinical feature of pancreatitis. So if there is a history of recurrent pain in the right hypochondrium, and now your patient has present to you with severe abdominal pain in the epigastrium and nausea and vomiting, you should suspect pancreatitis, right? And how you can diagnose pancreatitis? With the help of ultrasound. The ultrasound can tell you that your pancreas is enlarged, and sometimes there is collection in the peripancreatic area. And how you will say that this pancreatitis is because of gallstone. On ultrasound you will see there will be gallstone in the gallbladder. So if there is stone in the gallbladder and a patient is having clinical feature of pancreatitis, then most probably this pancreatitis is because of stone in the gallbladder, which have traveled down into the CBD, and there is impaction at the ampulla of the Vater. right? So if there is a patient of acute pancreatitis, clinical feature of acute pancreatitis, you should always advise uh, ultrasound of hepatobiliary system. And if on ultrasound there is a stone in the gallbladder, then 99% chances are there that this pancreatitis is because of gallstone, right? Sometimes what are the most common causes of pancreatitis? It is gallstone and alcohol. So in some patient, all these factors they are there. So if there is a stone in the gallbladder and patient is alcoholic also, so you should do cholecystectomy in those patients, right? Because first you should suspect that this pancreatitis is because of gallstone. So you should uh, treat uh, gallstone also in those patients. So if there is acute pancreatitis because of impacted stones at the ampulla of the ureter, what will be the treatment? An immediate endoscopic sphincterotomy and extraction of the stone is required, right? So you will do ERCP and you will do endoscopic sphincterotomy. And mind you, if you see what are the complications of ERCP, one of the important complication of ERCP is acute pancreatitis, right? So, but if there is acute pancreatitis because of impacted stone at ampulla of the ureter, you can do ERCP. So ERCP is not contraindicated in cases of acute pancreatitis due to impacted stone at the ampulla of the ureter, right? So in those patients, the treatment of pancreatitis will be ERCP followed by endoscopic sphincterotomy. I will tell you later on how endoscopic sphincterotomy is done, but at this time you should know what is the treatment of acute pancreatitis due to impacted stone at ampulla of ureter. It is ERCP followed by endoscopic sphincterotomy and removal of the stone. Otherwise, complication of ERCP is pancreatitis. But it is the only condition of acute pancreatitis where your ERCP is indicated. Otherwise, ERCP is contraindicated in acute pancreatitis. So, in next lecture, we will discuss what are the various investigations done for CVD stone and what are the various management which are done to treat the CVD stone. Now you can ask any question, and at the end you have to mark your present and you have to leave the class.